Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Escape Plan. Ray Breslin, played by Sylvester Stallone. He works for an independent security company who the Federal Bureau of Prisons has hired to be entered into federal prisons and like big high security prisons and try to escape from them to see where their security weaknesses are. And he's very successful at this, and he has his own little company that he co-runs with Vincent D'Onofrio. He also works there with 50 Cent and Amy Ryan, and he has been approached to come and be incarcerated in a new kind of prison, a prison that people who want to imprison all the people who governments don't want on their books, and they want to disappear rather than just kill them, which would make a lot more sense, but whatever, this is a movie. So he's asked, and they're going to pay him twice the amount they usually pay them to go in and see if this jail is really as impenetrable as they say. And when Sylvester Stallone, or Ray Breslin, gets into the prison, he realizes he's in for more than he bargained for. And there he meets Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, and they strike up a friendship to try to escape from this incredible, crazy future jail. Both Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think, specialize now and in this later part of their career in throwback action movies. Both of them individually have made one this year already. Sylvester Stallone with Bullet to the Head and Arnold Schwarzenegger with The Last Stand. And both of those were directed by two directors that I thought it'd be cool if those two action stars worked with. Sylvester Stallone's Bullet to the Head was directed by Walter Hill. Arnold Schwarzenegger's The Last Stand was directed by Kim Ji-woon. My expectations for those films were obviously higher, especially for Bullet to the Head since it was Walter Hill's first film in nearly a decade, and The Last Stand because it was Kim Ji-woon's English language debut. So I was very excited for those movies, and they turned out to be fine. They were fun movies, but my expectations were too high. The director of this is Mikael Hofstrom, who did things like The Right and Derailed and 1408. He's not a director I think anybody really remembers. He's a pretty standard Hollywood director type of guy, but with very little personality or anything to distinguish him from. I don't really remember the films of his I've seen. And in a way, because I knew it was not directed by Walter Hill or Kim Ji-woon, my expectations for Escape Plan were a lot lower. That kind of worked in its favor. It's not a great, amazing action movie, and none of these throwback movies are, unfortunately. I really wish somebody could really have a lot of fun with these stars and do more with them. I mean, I think the Expendable films are probably the best of the throwback action films. All these other ones have just never really turned out to be as much fun as those. Escape Plan works in its own kind of stupidity, in a kind of a stupid 80s, 90s action movie way. It's weird having them both in the same movie as co-stars, as the lead co-stars, because their deliveries are so weird, and having them together makes it more obvious than I've ever noticed before. They both have this kind of delayed delivery. Stallone's mumbly, Schwarzenegger's got this German accent. They do kind of work together very well as co-stars. They obviously know each other very well, Planet Hollywood and all. It makes for like them to be kind of odd co-stars, their sense of delivery, because it kind of plays off each other, but it's so kind of unconventional the way both of them talk that it's just kind of odd. This film was really lucky at all the stars that it got to co-star with them. I mean, you have Jim Caviezel, who probably did the best villain role I've seen in any of these throwback action films. He really owned the evil warden. He was really good at it. You know, he's really scary and fun, maliciously evil, and very like posh. I hope Jim Caviezel does more villains because I think he is amazingly good at it. You know, I know from Jesus to the Devil, Sam Neill has a small part as a doctor in the jail. 50 Cent's in it, which I find amusing even though he's not a great actor or anything. I don't know why Amy Ryan's in this, or Vincent D'Onofrio. It felt like everyone in it was really self-aware on what kind of a film they were doing. They weren't taking it too seriously, and it definitely felt like the director of this, Mikael Hofstrom, studied or at least got notes or something from an 80s or 90s action director. Not a good or great 80s or 90s action director, but maybe like kind of a very genre-specific one. Like a genre director sat him down and told him the rules of the game. I wonder if the director of Eraser gave him his director's notes. And he got the flow of it. This film is constantly flowing very well and in a very entertaining way. I didn't get bored while I was watching it. There was nothing really boring happening because it was constantly moving. It had a really good, stupid flow. There's not much separating this from The Last Stand. and bullet to the head. Well, I guess except for Mikhail Hofstrom is really bad at staging and shooting action sequences. It's just really bland and boring. He doesn't really know how to do great coverage with an action sequence. But I still think all these films are about the same in terms of quality. There are certain parts you like more than others, but overall there's always things you don't like specifically. I think this film's at least the goofiest, and it has the most interesting premise, the whole thing with the jail and all the stupid plot twists and everything like that, that I kind of, even though it's the dumber of the three, which is really saying something, I kind of like it for that, just because it was such a goofy, stupid ride. And maybe that's kind of the point of Escape Plan. You know, I wasn't expecting much, but it's like when you want to see a throwback action movie, you want to be taken back to when you saw those dumb action movies from the 80s and 90s, and you're like, yeah, that's awesome, so you can feel like a kid again or something, have this kind of stupid escapist entertainment. And I think Escape Plan really works with that. Sure, it doesn't have great direction, and it's not a great movie, it doesn't have a particularly great script, and I'll probably forget about it in a couple of months. This one at least kind of got it and owned it better than I've seen a lot of action movies, even though it isn't a great movie. It's not trying to say anything. It's really just there so I can have fun. And I had fun with Escape Plan. So if you've seen Escape Plan and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.